Well, good morning, Red Wolves. My name is Reich Robinson, and this week at A-State, a new athletics director has joined the pack. Tom Bowen was named Vice Chancellor for Intercollegiate Athletics. Bowen has 25 years of leadership experience in collegiate and professional athletics, with 15 years of experience as an FBS athletics director. Chancellor Kelly Damphus officially introduced Bowen during a press conference on March 11th. The event was streamed and can be found on the A-State website and YouTube channels. Arkansas State University students have taken the lead in national fundraising efforts. 250 students worked in 16 teams to raise money for St. Jude's Children's Hospital in Memphis. The students raised $55,850, placing them first in the national Up Till Dawn fundraising competition. On Wednesday, March 15th, the Student Government Association held the 2021 President-Vice President debate. The event was streamed on the organization's Facebook page where it can still be watched. Voting for the 2021-2022 SGA election closed this morning at 9 a.m. The A-State Counseling Center is hosting Mental Health Awareness Week. Previous events have consisted of meditation exercises, mindfulness practice, and motivational activities. Information about upcoming events can be found on the Counseling Center's social media accounts. Tonight, March 18th, the Non-Traditional Student Organization will host an online mixer. Non-traditional students will gain insight on the NTSO and leadership opportunities. Participants will also be entered in a drawing to win one of two $100 gift cards. The event will be held on Zoom at 5 p.m. A major segment of our show every week will be dedicated to my co-host sitting down with an A-State faculty member or student discussing various topics. In the last episode, Noah Gregory had the chance to sit down with freshmen Riker Little and Braden Taylor to discuss the pandemic's effects on their senior year and their transition into college. This week, Abigail Gatewood spoke with A-State alum Ruth Kennedy about sustainable living. We bring that interview to you.
Good morning, A-State. I'm filling in today for your usual host, Noah Gregory, and today I wanted to have a conversation about sustainability. To help me, I brought along former A-State student and newly graduate, Ruth Kennedy.
How are you guys? I'm Ruth. I'm excited to be here and just talk about some random topics about sustainability.
Cool. Well, we're so glad to have you on today, and I'm really excited to just get your opinion on some things and to just really hear what you have to say about this really important topic. I know that we hear a lot in the news and this is something that we talk about. It's something that is important to our generation. And so, we hear about a lot of different things. We hear a lot about one-use plastics, but really I wanted to kind of talk about some other ways to protect not only the planet, but also human life and just, other things that don't get talked about a lot. I feel like a really important part of making this topic feel more relatable is discussing really practical ways that even college students can adapt a more sustainable lifestyle.
It's true. Like sustainability is absolutely everywhere in media, social media, it's everywhere now, which is really good because it's bringing more awareness. But it's also overwhelming, just like with any news station or anything. There's a lot of fake information out there. There's a lot of terms that are thrown around that may sound good, but aren't actually real or actually helping other people or helping our planet at all. So it can be overwhelming. I'm still learning a lot of that too. I've learned a lot over the past few years about some of the real stuff and the fake stuff, but there's always room to grow, and that's the most important thing to remember, is that we're all just taking little baby steps to get better at this. So I know as a college student, money's tight, so that's usually like one of the first things that people are concerned about with trying to be sustainable, because there's all these fancy products and things that's like, oh, we got to have all of these things to be sustainable, but that's not necessarily true. One of the first things that I think you should think about is the most sustainable thing you can do is use what you have and make use of what you already have and what already works for you. So say you've seen like, oh, there's all these fancy like wooden toothbrushes or things like that. Yeah, those are cool, but if you have a package of plastic ones still in your cupboard, finish using those before you go buy something new. So like, that's the first thing, is just use up everything that you've got. And then the next time you purchase something, you can work on finding a brand that's more sustainable or packaged better or something like that. But use what you've got first. That'll save you money. Then you're not wasting anything. But So that's one thing. Another thing is, as a college student, I know like sometimes it's hard to buy healthier food, but one thing you can do is you can buy in bulk. That will reduce packaging. That can, and it's usually cheaper on you. So that's one good thing you can do. Another thing is fast fashion is a big deal. It's really bad in a lot of ways. Things are not made well, so they break down really quickly, and then you just go buy more. And in the process of all that, they're exploiting other people in order to make those clothes. So fast fashion is something that we don't want to support. And so the first thing you can do with that is shop secondhand, because that's usually cheaper, and then you're not contributing to buying new things.
I agree that, fast fashion is a huge part of our day-to-day lives, and especially, us as women, we like to shop and we love Target, and, all of these things are really cool, and it's really fun to buy nice new clothes, and we like brand names, but it is really important to keep in mind, just what kind of impact our actions can have on our planet and other people's lives. And that's, I feel like, really the main idea of sustainability is just making sure that what you do is, intentional, and that you pay attention to the effect that you personally have on the planet and the people around you.
Sometimes it's really overwhelming to try and figure out like what brands of clothing are good and are bad. I found this one resource. It's called Good On You. It's just this website that you can search different brands, and it has a lot of different qualifications for brands that they have to follow. And one of the top ones is like where they source their materials and their labor. It gives each brand a rating on if they're supporting the workers that make their clothing, that they're getting fair wages, fair treatment, and that they're taken care of so they can take care of their families. But then it also takes into consideration like where the materials are coming from, and where like the clothing is going, or if it's able to be recycled after the fact, in terms of the effect it has on the planet as well. So I really like that tool because you can very quickly see if maybe your favorite brand, like, hate to break it to you, but like Old Navy, Nike, some things like that, they're really vague on where they get their materials, or where who works for them, like who makes everything. And so it's good just to know which companies, like, maybe to try and avoid if you can, because they might not be taking care of the people that are making things for them.
Just to get this, a little bit deeper in the conversation, what is one aspect of all of this? What's one part of sustainability that is really, really important to you?
I think the biggest thing for me is just being more aware of what you're consuming. There's lots of things that I just didn't even think about, or there's things that we just don't know where they come from or who made them. And the most important thing to me, like, I really want to protect the planet as well, but I really want to protect the people that are on it. And so I want to support companies and things like that that are taking care of people so they can take care of their families, and have a good life and all of that. And so I just think it's made me more aware of that, and I hope other people can start becoming more aware and just start taking little steps to support more people versus just the big company that exploits other people, and things like that.
So what are some ways that you personally really like to try to live a more sustainable lifestyle? Like, what are some just small actions or products or brands or, anything actions that you take yourself as a newly graduated college student, as a person, in a young adult generation? What can we do personally, and what's your favorite thing?
I'll say this: Google is your friend. You can learn how to do all kinds of things with Google. I am trying to DIY more things, such as like cleaning products. Like, if you have basic stuff like vinegar, baking soda, things like that, you can make your own cleaning supplies, and that's cheaper on you. Or I really like to try and buy like things in glass jars if I can. Then I'll reuse those to store food in them, like take part of my lunch to work, or store paintbrushes in. Like, you can do anything with that kind of stuff. But I'm personally trying to just be better about using what I have, like, instead of using, like, again, single-use plastics is a big deal. It's not the only issue, but one thing you can do is just take a fork from your drawer to work when you eat. Just really little things. Or like if you need like a cleaning rag, use an old t-shirt. Just little things like that. Use what you've already got around you. Again, I like to buy in bulk if I can. Sometimes it's not practical if it's not something you use a lot. But say you eat a lot of rice, buy a big bag of rice and it will last you a long time.
Yeah, I really like to pay close attention to like what I can reuse, and I love DIYing and making your own products, and then you're just reusing what you have in your home, which I agree, you've said that multiple times, and I think it's really important. It's something that may be a part of all of this that we don't really think about so much. So yeah, that's a really great part of that.
Even as a college student, as young people, we have the potential to do a lot of good, a lot of change, kind of change things up from how they've always been done. That's kind of what we're known for, is just trying new things, trying new stuff. So I just encourage you just to try one new little thing, reuse something that you've got, pay a little more attention next time you need to go buy a dress or buy a new product. Just do a little bit of research on the company that you're buying from, and just start becoming a little more aware of what you're doing. And every little thing helps. We don't have to be perfect at it. I know I'm not, but every little step makes for a bigger impact in the future.
Thanks, Ruth, for coming in and having this conversation. And I really appreciate that, you were willing to come in and just help break down, a pretty complicated topic and make it practical and easy. And yeah, and I'm grateful that you're doing your part to keep, your little part of the planet and the people around you safe. And
everybody just keep learning. We'll get there.
Great. Awesome. Thank you.
We here at This Week at A-State would once again like to thank Ruth for joining us this week. Once again, we here at This Week at A-State would once again like to thank Ruth for joining us this week. This has been This Week at A-State. We thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Until then, we challenge you to think positively, Red Wolves. The best days of your life are ahead of you. You just have to go live them. Thank you.